Gave you guys an agenda, but I didn't give myself one.
Here, you can have this one if you want.
Did you print one out?
Yeah.
Look at you, being all proactive and stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you. All the
Good.
private road stuff that I put in the Dropbox, I didn't print. Yeah,
Is it necessary or?
well, it's on the agenda, we were gonna talk about them, but,
Mm-hmm. Do you wanna do it before we get going?
I've got a copy of it if you just wanna.
You
run
printed
through
it?
the copier.
of all the things. Sorry.
Alright. I didn't come early to take a number, I guess.
You didn't print all of them.
What's that?
This is only one of them. There's like 5 different things for the town roads.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
It'll be fine, I guess.
Yeah.
When we get to that, either that or we can just put it to next week.
Okay. Alright. Excellent. So seeing that's 5 o'clock, we'd like to open up this meeting. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. So this is our first time being back recorded for about the last 6 weeks or so. Our audiovisual guy, Ron Stanley's back, having a successful surgery, so he's doing good. So we're glad to have him back. At tonight's meeting, we'll be discussing resident request for parking permit on town property, some private road stuff, and our weekly roundtable discussion to include monthly budget reviews, policies and procedures, the antique fire brigade building, and Peter's retirement party date. So, thank you for coming in, and if I could just have you two state your names and then the reason why you came in.
Yeah, I'm John Root, my wife Kathy. We're on Old Beaver Road. I'm the duly elected president of the HOA for Oakwood Commons. So with the road being discussed, or roads being discussed in general, we thought it'd be in our interest to get here, to hear firsthand, where you guys are at and what our options might be. So
Okay.
we're here to learn.
Old Beaver.
Yeah.
Where
Did you
is
already
Old
say-
Beaver located?
So it's off Ashburnham Road, right on the state line, right before the state line. It's the last subdivision on the right as you're headed out of the state. 16 families established in the HOA was established in 2015.
Oh.
So we've got planning board minutes back to 2015 on this road, back and forth. That's what I'm saying, we waited 8 years. So, and I won't take up all your time, but so I'm here representing the community to go back to them because we get asked all the time, status of the road, and what are the options. So I wanted to hear firsthand so I could get back to the
Okay.
homeowners to give them a real scoop as to what the deal is.
Yeah, since you guys took your time to come on in, I don't see any reason why not to, we'll just get right into it with you guys, so I don't have to sit and wait and.
Okay.
Sometimes we go off on tangents and.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
We could be here till 1
I
a.m.
think I'm cheap at that.
Since there are 3 board members sitting here, Deb, I don't have a full
Aw,
copy,
man.
but here,
That's okay.
Thank you.
this is what I put together to submit to formally request the town take the road. And I think the language is right. Dee, who's on the planning board, helped me with what terms were required to get an official statement from the town as to either approve, accept, deny, or delay or what have you. So
Okay.
I've got a couple of as-built there, and then way back in April in 2015, there were planning board minutes that I attached to page 4 there that shows, the status of the road, what the planning board said was required as far as top coat goes. And I mean, you guys have all of those records in your system, I know. So that's one reference to, you know, the state of the road today, based on that conversation and agreement, was that nothing else really needs to be done to the road for the town to take it, other than the town to say that they'll take the road. In other words, the HOA doesn't need to rebuild the road or repave it or anything based on 8 years ago.
Okay.
So,
And you guys have been maintaining it since
in
then?
a sense, yeah, we've cut and patched, repaired and dried, you know, and sealed, and we just don't have $100 grand to repave it again, you know, as an HOA. So we, you know, we plow it, we keep the brush cut, we keep the culverts clean, you know, and those kinds of things, natural routine maintenance. And you know, the homeowners are getting older, a lot of them, and the cost of maintaining it started to become a burden on some of the families, so. And the school bus won't go down that road because it's public, so the kids have to be trucked out to the main road every day, so because the school buses won't go into the community.
Mm-hmm.
If we're public, the kids could get picked up on a regular route, so just
Okay.
another one of the things on why we're looking to get the town to pick it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm told that the selectmen don't need to defer to the planning board again or the road agent again, that you guys can make a decision or decide to delay or, I guess, kick the can down the road again.
Hey, wait, I told you to say
Yeah, you're using Jason's favorite saying.
So I, you know,
Kick the can.
I would really like
Kick
to
the
be
can
able
down
to
the road.
go down, you know, go back to the community and with positive news, but I'm not looking for miracles, so I'm just hoping for the best.
Yeah.
So Jason, you mentioned the if and there was contingencies upon this process. Can you elaborate on that at all?
I'm sorry.
When we first got here and you said if.
Because I had made the
If you
statement, we get things done or something
Oh.
like that, and then
Oh, in this process, yeah, we find out that there's all kinds of hurdles a lot of times that we have to jump through that we didn't know were there.
Yeah.
But we try to jump them as quick as possible.
So we're not kicking the can. Gotcha.
no, and naturally we look towards a recommendation from our road agent because we had designated him to be our official over roads.
Yeah.
So though we have, you know, oversight of that,
Sure.
he's our boots on the ground. It's not necessary, but it makes it a stronger case, you know, to make sure that we're not doing
Oh, I get it.
anything wrong by the town.
I get it. No,
Yeah, yeah.
I just needed to say that in case you guys were being rambunctious and wanted to just that you would.
Yeah.
And I could go home with good news,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, and
I
then
get it.
and then the planning board aspect is the same too. Like if they have any knowledge, because they are part of that process of the subdivision, when it, you know, of approval and then closing out the bond, like as a part of their purview. So
Right.
they would have like that greater picture. So again, just another strengthening piece. So, and even just these minutes that you provided, you know, opens up a couple questions for me.
Sure.
I
I mean,
know.
there's dozens and dozens of pages
Yeah.
in the meetings after that. You know, this was one of the early meetings where Old Beaver Road was initially discussed with the developer in the room and the planning board. So it's funny, I pulled all of the meeting minutes for 2014 and 15 down, and you do a search of Old Beaver Road on each of the documents, and it just keeps popping and popping and popping. And I didn't want to print all 60 pages, so.
Yeah. No, naturally. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of discussion, and then it's been quiet for like the last 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Certainly before COVID, everything kind of quieted down and hasn't been discussed. And the only reason we brought it back up this time was when you published the new road bids, you know, for paving, and there was some private, semi-private roads on the list that the town is going to pave. So thought it was time to bring it back up and and see
Wait.
what our options were.
We paved private roads?
No.
No, we didn't.
You didn't pave them, but apparently some of them roads that are on your list that were gonna be bid are private.
No.
No, they are town-owned roads.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I'm here.
It's off the
That's what I
official
was told,
state lists
right?
and, yeah,
Right.
and that information was provided,
Okay.
yeah, so it just,
Yeah,
yeah.
again, it was one of those caught our attention, and well, some of the homeowners in the neighborhood and said, if this is true, we need to find out. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm here, because there was gonna be discussion about private roads, so
Mhm.
just wanted to see what our options were.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So,
I could run out there with the Peters.
yeah, yep,
Are they both here this week? I haven't talked to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can meet them out there and get a report from them.
yeah, that'd be good, and I was even thinking, it might be good for us all to just take the walk on the road and, see what the current condition
maybe
of it
that's
is.
what we
and-
do.
Yeah,
Like
and
we
then
did at Kennebec.
Yeah, and then have, both Peters with us and,
Yeah,
maybe ahead of next week's meeting or,
yeah, I'd be open to that,
or,
just to see.
And I'm available anytime if, you need somebody to point out any issues or concerns or.
okay,
Cause it's just the circle, there is a shared driveway called Arrowhead off, but that's not part of the Old Beaver Road part, it's a shared
Yeah.
driveway.
correct,
It's a named
yeah.
driveway.
Yeah, there are 3 homes off the back end cul-de-sac
Yeah,
Yep.
that is, would stay private. We're really, I mean, unless you wanted it, but I can't imagine you
I
wanna
don't
take a
think we
driveway.
can. We can't.
no,
so.
Not a shared driveway.
And it's very narrow.
Yeah.
It's not up to spec. The rest of the road, width-wise, drainage-wise, shoulder-wise, I believe is at spec.
yeah,
So,
And you are aware, in times past, people would just bring a petitioned warrant article. So you have that as a last recourse.
yeah.
for vote in March,
Yeah, and then the townspeople would vote on it,
Right.
and
Yeah, I've got some time. I'm hoping you guys do the right thing and say this makes sense.
we try
It's
to
good
do
for
the
the
right
town.
thing.
No, I know you do.
Yeah.
And I think it's good for the town. It's certainly good for the homeowners.
Mhm.
There's, again, 16 homeowners up there. So it's not a big community, but it's enough to make a difference.
Mhm.
So,
alright, you guys wanna set a time now? I'm in town on Friday morning, so I don't know if you guys
Oh,
wanna
this
go,
Friday?
yeah, I know, actually their DPW's off on Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to do 4? Can we do 4 o'clock? Because that way it won't hold the Peters up because their day ends at 4. But I'm sure they wouldn't mind 15, 20 minutes over there.
Oh, like before,
Before the
Tuesday's
next
meeting?
Yeah.
Do you be able to, how's your work?
Yeah, I can make my best efforts, like to get back at 4, and does that sound good to you, Lou? Tuesday at 4?
Doesn't make any difference at all to me.
Alright,
All right.
that
so
sounds great, so if you can,
Tuesday,
that up
4
with them.
p.m.
so we'll come down and take a walk.
Okay.
Take a
Perfect.
look, see what we're looking at today and get an idea of the condition and
And
we'll
it's
go from there.
next Tuesday?
It's the 27th.
Yes, yep,
27th at 4.
And good place for us to meet is always at the fire pond. There's plenty of room to park there.
okay,
And there's a wide shoulder.
It's like right when you first go in.
alright,
You
On the
can't
left.
miss it. You fall in it if you're not careful, so.
alright.
It's fun. Well, that was my only business, and I won't stay and entertain you any longer unless you have any other questions.
I have a
Yeah,
question.
why won't you stay and entertain us?
I can, I mean, otherwise, I guess it's better to have somebody to listen in, right?
Yeah.
We like having someone out there.
Is this normal? I mean, I've only
Yeah.
been here till one of these.
This is open to the
Sadly.
public every week.
No,
That's why
is it
we-
normal that there's nobody here?
Yes,
No,
and that's why
okay.
we're so
Oh, wow.
happy you guys
Yeah.
came
Wow.
in.
Unfortunately, yeah, but it's just, I guess the nature of the beast,
Yeah.
Yeah, we just deal with issues.
Lou, you had a question?
Yeah, are there any maps showing where the drainages are or
There,
retention ponds or anything?
Is there
there
an
are,
as-built?
in what was submitted by the builder to you guys. I don't have a copy, but it's the as-built for the road.
Okay.
but I'm sure we can get them. You
Well, we
probably
should-
have them on file
We should have
here.
them on file, right?
Yeah, I'll see if I can dig them out.
Yeah, I'd like to look at those before we go out.
Yeah, and they're pretty fancy. They're all stamped concrete walls and elevated, pipes and stuff. So infrastructure was really well done until I guess he went bankrupt, the first builder, back in the late 90s, I think, early 2000s. Yeah, it's impressive. It's all stamped concrete on the walls.
Yeah.
And
Do you know who that builder was?
I don't, I know Kenny took it.
Sanken took it, bought it at auction, the land at auction.
I don't know who had
It
it.
was the final builder. I can't remember the name. It was before my time here. I can't
Okay.
remember the name of the initial contractor.
It wasn't Craven, was it?
That you could give me the name and I
Yeah.
wouldn't know. I mean, most of the folks that have been up in there for more than 8 years, like 10 years or so, know who it was because he built their homes.
Mm.
I think he built 5 homes. And
Yeah, I
then-
think so, something like that.
and went under, and then Sanken built the last.
Like Mary Ann's, I
11?
think Mary Ann was the first one in there, I think, right?
I think
She
you're
was all
right.
by herself.
Yeah,
for
I
a
think that
while.
was the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So,
Alright. Yeah, Jason, do you have any other questions?
No.
No, Boo?
No.
Good. Yeah,
Okay.
we're good. Yeah.
all right.
Thank
Well,
you.
we'll hang around and listen to the rest of your agenda if that's all right.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's absolutely
You're
fine.
welcome to.
We love that.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Alright. So, you had private roads on here,
I did.
so what was your intention?
So we had discussed at a previous meeting after Dee had gone to the road committee meeting and we were gonna discuss, the private roads. We kind of brought it up a little bit and then we said we'd continue it to tonight. Dee had said there were a lot of private road, or 3 private roads on our list to pave the roads that were private, which she said she did a lot of investigating and there's that letter in there in the Dropbox, with all of her backup and everything, but, the roads were, was it 2001 or 2010, I can't remember. Those, what she's talking about is Blueberry, Andrew, and Nora. And so I called the state after that road committee meeting and to see if I could, actually it was before that, excuse me, and to see when and how those roads were accepted by the selectmen. And he sent me this list, which is in the Dropbox, of a whole bunch of different roads,
In
plus
town.
including Blueberry, Andrew, and Nora, that were signed by all 3 selectmen, that was sent to the state back in either 2001 or
I think
2010.
it's 2002.
2002.
Yeah.
2002.
Yeah.
So, so it's a town road. I mean, we've been maintaining it for 13 years or 11 years. Can't do math today.
Here, even
So
21 years.
yeah. Oh yeah. Or maybe 21,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been maintaining the road anyway. Even if it wasn't like an official vote, it was signed by the selectmen, sent to the state, which is technically an acceptance of the road, because all 3 selectmen signed it, sent it into the state as these are now town roads for that year. So they're not private, they are public roads. And I had gone through, back when I was doing land use back in 2017, I had started, because there were so many questions about different roads, so I made a list of every single road in town. I compared it with the E911 list, the state list, and our list from Avatar, from our assessing software, and kind of merged it all together and tried to find if it was accepted by the Board of Selectmen, if it was accepted by a warrant article, what the warrant article was, what the year was. I think that might be that list. If it's a named driveway, so we've been keeping up with that list also. I didn't get like even half of the list done because there's so many roads, but I was working on that and I was trying to fit it in here and there when I can, but so the list is the list from this as far as the state goes. whatever they have as a town road is a town road. So there's that. So basically that's kind of what, and one of the road committee members suggested that, you know, those roads on that list are considered town roads by the state, so do the Board of Selectmen need to just say, we're accepting all of these roads now? Even though they were accepted maybe informally back in the day?
Is that possible?
I don't,
Informally accept the road on behalf of the town?
I mean,
That doesn't
the,
seem very
the
good.
board, I know,
That's why we're here.
but the Board of Selectmen, all three of them signed that slip
Right, and
to
that's,
send it to the state. That should be
and
the
that
end of it.
qualified.
That's
Right.
legal then.
Yeah. Yeah. And as far as the state is concerned, it's legal, so.
If I may, that tells me that you guys set a precedence back in those years to sign off and accept as selectmen, right, without a warrant article or, you know, just because somebody started maintaining the roads, plowing, upkeep or whatever. I mean, was that done through,
I don't know
Well,
how.
Right.
well, from
So-
those roads, but there's not a precedence necessarily, and it's a case by case basis, like
Okay.
at the select board level to choose to accept the road or not, and that could have been done in a meeting ahead of that. But the reason that that's all we need for the legal form and not to go back trying to search and figure out what meeting it was a part of,
Right.
is because all three select board members signed off on it.
Right.
And,
that's my
and it's
point.
not,
Yeah.
yeah, so and it's, but that doesn't mean that every select board after that needs to just simply sign off on a piece of paper. Each board can conduct itself how it wishes to. And for a long time, there wasn't like an open acceptance of these private roads.
Yeah, there were years that the Board of Selectmen said, nope, we're not accepting any new roads.
And that comes and goes with what the makeup of the board is.
Right.
so there's no process in place for the board to act on that shows basically a procedure for
No, there
converting
is.
roads from private to public?
There is, it's a state rule. So there's two different ways. One is the residents on the private road will petition the selectmen to accept their road.
Yep.
So either by a petition or we're gonna give you our road, please take it.
Which
That
he's
type of
do-
thing.
They're doing
Which
right
is
now.
what you're
Which
doing
one-
now,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And if the selectmen said yes, then it's officially a town road as of that signing of that letter or
Oh, I see.
whatever.
Okay.
If the selectmen said no, then what a few roads, Valley Road's done it, Jacqueline Drive did it, was there another one?
There's been a few.
Yeah, I think there was 2 or 3, maybe more in the past 5 or so years, that they put it on a warrant article. Will the town vote to accept whatever road as a town maintained road? And if it passes, it's a road immediately. If it doesn't, then you're private forever.
At options.
But if it does pass, the selectmen still have to sign.
Nope,
no.
no,
that
because
just
that's
goes
that's the
straight.
vote of the town. Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And
I mean,
that's
we
what-
still have to let the state know.
Right, that's
That
what I
this
was
was-
wondering,
yeah.
who signs it?
Yeah, so usually it's the road agent that sends that form in. Peter and I have been doing it for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
I guess my question was more towards process and procedure that are required to be followed by the board, the selectmen. So you said the state has 2 different options or mandates on how to go from private to public.
The state, those processes are for every town, but it's mandated by the state.
Yeah.
So this is how every board of selectmen has to operate in the state. So you don't go to the state.
No, I know. My question is,
Yeah, no, the
When
process,
somebody
like,
submits
so once you submit it
you-
to us,
yeah, do you have a checklist,
Oh.
mandatory requirements for the
Gotcha.
road? Like road agent gets dispatched,
well,
you know, the
so
planning
there's
board.
not that necessarily, which could potentially work to your benefit or
Or not.
the
No,
other
I get
way.
it.
Yeah,
I
so
get
it's
that.
kind of,
Yeah.
but like I said earlier, like in general, we would look for a recommendation from our road agent because that would strengthen the case because he would say, yes, this was built properly and I believe that the infrastructure is good of the road and we're not taking on something that is going to require a lot of extra, like to raise tax dollars in
Yeah,
order to
money
fix
back.
somebody else's
Right.
problem.
Yeah, like poor
And then,
drainage,
yeah,
everything is,
and then
you
that's
gotta
the same,
start over.
and that's the same thing with the planning board. So we'd look for that recommendation just as a strengthening piece of that. And if it would really, typically it'd behoove us to go on those recommendations or the non-recommendation, like them saying, don't take it.
Yeah,
But then in the case of Jacqueline, the select board that was sitting at that time walked Jacqueline Drive. They were looking for a way to approve it, but they couldn't get down to that the infrastructure was built good enough and it was already showing signs of having issues, and it was a fairly new road, so to speak.
oh, I see.
So at the select board level, they turned it down, and that was fairly contentious because we're all community members. We all live in town, and
Sure.
so then it's almost like it pits
That's-
community members against community members. But
That's why I didn't invite 15 homeowners to come
and
tonight.
I appreciate that. But so then what that group did that for Jacqueline Drive was that they submitted that petition warrant article to go on to the March vote.
Yep,
And our greater community, our legislative body, which includes you, overrode the select board and said, no, we would like to take that road over. So like all those families got together and got that word out that they would like their road to be a public way.
yep.
And our whole, so it's it worked backwards because all the official reasons for not accepting it were really in the best interest of the taxpayers and community members of New Ipswich. But then they decided that, nope, we want to, have them as a part of our public road structure.
Now I get it, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and as far as policies go, I could be mistaken, but I believe each select board has a lot of latitude on
I
how they're
assume
going
that,
to
yeah.
operate as a board, and so you could write up a policy book and we could look at it and say, I don't think so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
you gotta be careful who
you
you
can have a
elect.
piece of paper for everything you have to do, right? And it's,
Right.
every process, it would make sense. So I just thought I'd ask to see if there's a punch list that you followed.
Yeah.
There kind of is, because in the subdivision regulations now, and for years, we're requiring people to build a subdivision and build the road to class 5 standards,
Right.
which is an extra expense. It's a lot of money. And then for us to turn around and say, nope, we're not taking your road. I think that's kind of been a bone of contention
Oh, yeah.
a little bit, because if we're making you spend all this, the builder, spend all
Right.
that extra money to make the road to the standards that we say you have to, and then turn around and say, no, we're not going to accept it. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I
Well, and
feel like
80%
that's
of the homeowners on Old Beaver Road today were told by the builder that it would be as they were buying and building, that the builder would put a finish coat and make it a class 5 road. The town would take it. That's what all the buyers
We're told
That's why
when
when
they
we
bought.
have our annual meeting, I get an earful every year about, well, we were told this and we still, so they have
Right.
to pay money to have it plowed and
Right.
all those things that everybody thinks are being ripped off.
Yeah.
Well, they have been for years because the builder never did it.
Was
So,
wasn't there a tax differential
No.
for private roads?
No.
I thought
There was a
we saw
bond
it
for
was.
Old Beaver Road. I think it was 50,000, maybe more. It's in those notes.
Well, when he says differential, he means like you guys would pay a lower tax rate
I thought.
versus the
builder.
general, but everybody gets taxed at the same.
Yeah.
That's good.
thing.
Because everybody uses all the roads in town.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
It's
right.
not
That's
you're
right.
just
We
because
had
your
that,
road isn't
yeah.
being maintained doesn't mean so you're only driving on your road. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean. You have
It'd
to
be nice.
you have to drive on every other road.
It
So
might quiet people down a little bit.
I know, but
Okay.
I mean
stop
it
asking
goes for
questions.
all
I
the
think I
roads in
understand
town.
your process
Yeah.
and what our options are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So we'll be out there Tuesday at 4. I'll try to find the as-built in the meantime.
Okay.
Hopefully, if you find them, let me know. If you
Okay.
if you have them somewhere.
Yep.
I don't. We should have them.
I was gonna go look online, the same place you're gonna go.
Oh,
probably.
no, I'm gonna go down in the basement.
Oh. Oh, you're gonna look for paper copies?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna fight the cobwebs.
Sounds
Alright.
going.
Lou, do you have anything to add on the private road discussion?
Nope.
Alright, Jason? Alright, so we'll move along to the resident parking permit request. Debbie,
Okay. So,
there's an email.
Sean got an, or I got an email, yeah, I got an email. I got an email, through the website, and, this couple, her husband is looking for a parking space to park his 80-foot car hauler truck, and interested in the piece of land across from the fire department. And they said they're willing to pay a monthly fee for a parking permit, is this a place he can park, etc. I actually, the next day I had a meeting with the town administrators, our monthly meeting, and I started to say, does anybody allow people to park and pay for a permit or anything like for this? And I didn't even get the whole thing out of my mouth, and all 14 of them said, nope, run the other way. So, because it's a liability to the town if it got broken into, vandalized, or anything like that. And then if you okay it for one person, the next thing you know, you're gonna have, a parking lot full of people renting spaces or whatever. So, that was the advice of all the other town administrators.
But yet, the state and cities do this. I wonder how they do that without,
Unless they had like
Liability.
maybe designated parking lots for that or something. I
Yeah.
don't know.
because
I
I've
don't know.
heard, these aren't the only people who have brought this up. I've heard of, carpooling, people like construction crews.
Yeah.
We need a place to meet,
Yeah. Well, a lot of people park up at
and that's private
Up
property.
there,
So I'm
right.
sure
So
that
she-
the owners of Newest Mall
right.
would like to see the town have a parking
Yeah,
area.
which I don't
think it's,
disagree with, but at the same time, it's creating another facet of
revenue.
government. Well, not just oversight and expense.
No, there is that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because then you'd have to plow them out. Like even if we said, okay, you can park between buildings 1 and 2 here,
Hmm.
and then in the winter, and he needs to get out, who's responsible for plowing?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's just, I mean, it would be an expense to the town.
Mm-hmm.
You could, is it okay if I comment?
Absolutely.
Sure.
You could always pass all of those costs to the renter to where it becomes so expensive they can't afford it. Where you've done your due diligence to say, we agree, you need a place, these are our costs and we have to pass these costs on to you. We don't want to, but we don't have a choice because the taxpayers can't pay for you to park. And, and show them the cost and that it's cheaper to go to a private place than it is for the town to provide a space because it's prohibitive based on cost. That way you guys look like heroes, you've done everything, said yes, but at the same time, you can't eat the cost of them parking,
Yeah.
just as an idea.
Well, even that spot that they were looking at in particular, were, having looked at,
At this time, it
yeah,
wouldn't be a feasible spot.
Right.
no,
No.
What I was thinking is, remember where the old, was it a Chevron station?
yeah, it's the
Oh.
GO station there.
Oh, the Citgo.
Yeah, the Sitco station, there you go.
Yeah.
That lot's open, and whoever owns it, maybe it's worthwhile for them to seek that person out, or that company out.
That was one of the solutions that the town administrator said, New Ipswich has a lot of people that own a lot of land. Maybe
Yeah.
they would be willing to rent out
Yeah.
an area to them.
But that one's right there on the main highway anyway, and, it's highly visible, so that reduces any chance of vandalism.
Mhm.
Well, that would be up to them to contact.
Yeah.
And I just, at this time, I don't think we have the things in place necessary in order to enter into an agreement like this.
I agree.
Yeah.
So,
Do we formalize this
Huh?
motion, or do we need a motion before?
I don't think we have to reject it officially or anything, because I'd hate to do that and then have it hamper something down the line. You just never know.
Yeah.
So we
I'll just send her
Direct.
an email saying, you know, we discussed it, and at this time, we don't have the proper things in place to do that, and there are a lot of people in town that own a lot of land. Maybe you could contact one of them.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cause even, you know, just feel free to go into more specifics about that piece of property in particular and,
Right.
you know, what we're looking at.
Yeah, because it's
The potential
right now it's
contamination
being
issues, yeah.
studied
Right.
at the brownfield.
Yeah,
Um,
so we can't add a diesel fuel potentially to that.
Yeah. Transmission fluid.
So
Yeah.
go in there with a leaky gas tank.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
Yeah. Hydraulic fluid.
yeah,
Okay.
alright.
Cool.
And the next thing you had in our packet was that offer from Dr. Martin that we spoke about earlier.
Yep. So I got an email today from Dr. Martin about they used to rent out the basement in the SAU building in Greenville to a Head Start program, and they are not going to be renting it anymore. They rented it out for like $8,600 a year. And they offered it up to the town of Greenville and to us. She called me on Monday and said Monday, and said they were meeting Monday night to discuss, and that was going to be part of the discussion. So she just said she'd love to have a chat with us in Greenville. She's away until July 2nd, but we'll be checking emails. So she just wanted to have a discussion with us. I did tell her that I don't know if I was right or not saying this, but I said, well, I'm assuming that you would not be charging, if we decided to use it for anything, you wouldn't be charging us for anything, right? And she said, well, that's up to the board. And I said, well, we pay enough taxes to the scenic school district, so if it's free, it's for me. But I didn't think that.
But it sounds like we need to, you know, there's other people that are interested in it, and
Yeah.
so we'd all have to probably get together, and
Right.
Well,
Make
what
some
possible use would the town have of that?
it
I
could
was-
be just the starts of like a community
But this is in
center.
Greenville.
Yeah,
It's
so you
not-
could just
You have an Ipswich Community Center in Greenville?
a combined community center.
Yeah.
You know, because it's kind of like in the spirit of the school, like
Mhm.
where it serves both Greenville and New Ipswich.
Right.
If they were willing to, you know, allow that space to be used for, you know, our community members to go in and maybe have coffee, you know, or play games or whatever it may be.
Yeah,
like,
I was thinking like senior coffee or
Yeah.
after school program or something through Parks and Rec or.
So then that's who we would have involved in the discussion is the rec department,
Mhm. Yeah.
if there's any interest
And then
there.
as far as the after school program, I'm still at that same point as we were with, you know, Shauna when she was pitching the other thing in conjunction with the library.
Yeah.
Just, you know, staffing and infrastructure wise and
Right.
a plan. But this might be a good start for that. We always hear that we don't have enough available for our adults in town and seniors specifically. And a lot of people have cars or can jump in somebody's car and, you know, head over there and everybody can get together and have coffee and who knows, like let them kind of dictate where it goes. So then there's really
And it's not that far.
a smaller amount of oversight necessary when you get the, you know, seniors and adults involved versus children.
I don't like the idea of doing it outside of our community. If we're gonna do something, you know, for our community, it should be within our community.
It's owned by the Messinic school board district. So we
It's
still
in
own
Green-
it. It's
in
still our
Greenville.
well, it's not our property, but
It's still in Greenville.
So would you hinder it being open to New Ipswich residents altogether and dissuade them from going, or?
No, yeah, I mean, if the New Ipswich residents want to do it, but I don't think from an official basis that we should be involved with it.
I kind of agree with that. I just think it's, now we're in another town and I don't know, it seems like it could get complicated fast.
Because Greenville sends all their kids to New Ipswich.
That's all just for the
But
school.
they pay
No,
for,
I know,
but they pay
but-
for that.
Yeah,
Well, we pay for this too.
yeah, we pay
It's
for
all
that
part of our
building.
taxes,
That's, yeah, that's for the SAU to use.
but we
To
pay
use
for
it as a community center. I don't know. It seems,
But it doesn't, it's not the end of it, it's just the beginning, you know, like it could, you know, start the group that'll head up, you know, the initiative to find a spot in town, like who knows what it could lead to when people start congregating, right? And
it's a possibility, and I'm not opposed to discussing it and
Mhm.
exploring the option. But that's just my initial feeling is it seems like it could be complicated.
Mhm.
Cost sharing and all that, if there is cost.
Yeah, yeah,
electricity or heat.
yeah, we'll just have to see, you know,
Yeah.
what the school's willing to do,
Right.
so.
So how would we answer that?
So she just said more to come, so when she gets back from vacation, she's gonna email me and let me know, like when and if there's gonna be a discussion or whatever.
Alright, so this is a perfect time to kind of get into the good old list, Jason, from back in the day.
What's this?
Our checklist.
I can't believe that thing's still there.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
still
this is
there.
a new one.
Yeah, so I sent it over to Debbie, and she like got rid of all the old stuff and put
I-
on some of our newer items.
I
Actually,
made-
you have some in your packet. You have it in
Yeah,
your
I made
packet
it,
too,
I made
but,
them all a copy.
yeah.
You did?
It's in your packet, underneath the Memorial Day letter. It's the next thing under it.
So this way we'll have a better way to you know keep tracking and like who's responsible for what.
Okay.
And so we should put this right on the list, cause right now,
Every
you
week.
know, well, we're on the end of waiting for communication back from Dr. Martin, so that would be right on there, and so if it kind of, you know, we'll look at it monthly, I figured, at the very
Okay,
least, and have it as a part of our, first meeting every month, along with the budget review stuff.
So what document are we on?
Yes,
This
I thought
page here?
it
yeah,
looks like
yeah.
this.
Yep.
One of the items on here, Jason, is the poll permit for the banners. So I got the poll permit, but, and you said you were gonna try to figure out which polls to use, so we have to get poll numbers.
I thought that was done by Eversource and the DPW director.
Yeah, that's what that guy had
I
said.
could liaison to DPW and say, we need to get this set up.
We just need to get poll numbers, I have the
That's all they asked
application,
for?
I have the application, I'll write the poll numbers on it, submit it, and then they will probably come out just to verify,
Okay, so that's how it works. Excellent.
so. That was on my follow-up list. Basically, I took all my follow-up list stuff and put it on there,
So that's Hometown Heroes, right?
yeah.
Do we have another auction?
No, that was another thing I wanted to discuss,
Okay.
but that's further down and Jason's gonna bring one of those up. I was thinking if we could do an auction like end of September, early October, that way we won't have to postpone it because of snow. I have a message into St. Jean Auctions to see if that's a possibility.
Yeah, well, they've already said they'll go when we're ready, so
Right.
we just have to
Right,
have
I just
the
wanted to,
properties
give 'em a
first
date and-
to pitch,
right,
yeah.
I just wanted to check with them to make sure they hadn't booked up in the meantime for that time frame.
Yep. Alright, so this is active and going and something that will be able to be, you know, asked for and updated whenever we need it to be updated so that
Yeah.
everybody can stay in the loop of what's going on. And I don't know if we want to take things off as we complete them or just have it be a running list. But that's, you know, all things that we can kinda decide along the way.
We'll probably cut them and paste them to a different page or something, you know,
Yeah,
like an old stuff that was
Yeah,
done, who
completed.
did it,
Yep.
yeah, a completed page and a
Yep.
ongoing page.
alright. Excellent, and then there was some discussion that we were looking to do in regarding to the monthly budget worksheets, which Debbie's still working through some issues with, and Elisa was in this afternoon. So we're gonna go for our first, like that full discussion will happen at our first select board meeting in July, which we have to decide whether or not we're gonna meet on the 4th of July or if we're going to not have a meeting that evening and, right?
Is that a question?
Yeah,
It's a holiday. Town office is closed.
we're exercising our
Federal-
independence.
Okay, have fun. I won't be here.
Yeah,
Actually, we should do it the 11th.
Just take 4th of July off.
Yep.
I'm
It's
not
a
opposed to
federal
that.
holiday. You're even getting paid for it, so,
I am?
yeah.
But who's paying me? Oh, my
town.
stipend doesn't change.
Right.
That's right, so you're getting paid for it, aren't you?
yeah.
That's right.
Did you ever figure out how much you're getting per day here?
Per hour, if you figure it out
If you
per
do
hour.
it per hour, it's,
Oh, but then,
well, I don't wanna discourage
Don't.
people from doing this, so
Yeah,
we'll say it's
exactly.
pretty lucrative.
$3.30.
Are you up to 50 cents an hour, give or take?
Probably not even
For
that.
Rates.
Yeah, for lucky.
Right, so budget July 11th, and then no meeting.
So that's gonna
See,
put
this
us
is
at-
how the can gets kicked down the road.
But shouldn't we also be doing, if it's gonna be done July 11th, that would also be the quarterly budget review. Instead
That's
of
up to the
monthly.
FAC.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So,
The quarterly budget review should probably be the first week of, after the quarter.
yep, no, you're right, but, you know, we're gonna, at least if the FAC is not ready, we're doing our monthly,
Yeah.
yeah,
We don't know that the FAC won't be ready, but okay.
yes.
Some kind of budget review on July 11th, either
Okay.
quarterly
I like the
or a
sometime.
half a year worth.
Yeah, oh,
How's
good
that?
idea.
Does that sound good?
Yeah,
Budget
All
to
three at
date.
once.
So,
so I'll make a
just-
motion to, not have a meeting on the 4th of July. Was there a second?
A second.
I'll
All in
second.
favor?
I'll
Aye.
vote.
Alright.
Aye. I know I don't get a vote. I'm just trying to.
Alright, so when will all of the, like the pay manifest and everything be done for, are people coming in on the 3rd of July? And then you're closed on Friday,
That's a good question.
it's not too often you get a Monday, Tuesday,
I don't know. Oh, did you say everybody has Monday off too?
I thought, isn't that how this usually works?
Sure.
You guys get like all these
Oh.
days off,
Sure.
I
The
can't
board
remember,
did not vote on this.
no, but is it on our
So
list?
so Monday Monday is not a holiday. It's not a paid day off.
Oh, okay, alright, so we just,
But a lot of people are on vacation that
They
week.
so what's important to us is that we get all like the pay stuff done so we can
Right.
sign off on all the manifests and the checks go out, is what I'm trying to get to.
Yes, I knew that.
So just like help me out here and
Monday.
like Monday,
Yes.
alright, so Monday afternoon on July 3rd, 2 of us at least have to come in.
Yeah,
and-
just let us know when it's done and we'll
Absolutely.
come in.
Okay, man, you guys are like silly today.
Sorry. Me. I'm being
Ooh, ooh.
sarcastic and
Yeah.
silly at the same time. It's being back on camera.
Oh, is that what it is?
If
No,
it gets done
no, no.
if it gets done Friday, let us know.
It's not gonna get done
So,
Friday because
as-
people work over the weekend, like police work on Saturday, so she can't do payroll on Friday.
Okay.
As of today, with this, I
'Cause
know
you
we're
had
not
the-
gonna completely discuss the budget, but are the percentages right?
No,
Big picture,
no. That's what's being fixed.
which way is it going? Because,
There's a lot of
Things
So
weren't
you-
put,
It's-
things weren't put against the right account numbers, like it's in the right department, but not necessarily in the right spot, and then Debbie feels like it's getting double,
they were double entered
Mm.
when the adjustment was made, when it was taking it out from one, for example, look at the town clerk tax collector, it's on the second page. See the, down the bottom there, there's the town clerk tax collector and then the deputy, is that the right one?
well, vital stats.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So, if you look at this, it looks like we've paid out, we only have 4% of the town clerk's
Ooh.
salary left for the year.
I see.
So, there was a double adjustment made, and it was for 2022, because of the way we paid me and Lisa for 2022, how my salary was part from there and part from administrator and like that whole big convoluted mess. So she was doing an adjustment, but she put it under 2023. So it messed that all up. And there's a couple of other things. That's why she came in. I texted her and I was like, you need to fix this.
and then the
So-
parentheses mean that we have a surplus
Parentheses.
in that line, right?
Right.
So it's over the budgeted amount by, the 86,
Yeah.
80, which doesn't make any
Bode
sense.
well.
No.
Doesn't work that
So
way.
she came in to fix them all because they were, for some reason, double entered. And then there was like the property and liability to Primex. It should have come out of the workers' comp line, but it came out of property and liability line, and it was double entered on that too. So, yeah, it's just a whole big mess. So she's working on that and fixing that. And she did send me a text while we were sitting here, but I didn't.
Oh, I see. I saw what you were saying, Sean,
Mhm.
with the parentheses.
Yeah.
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 And just as a reminder, Carlene's gonna be gone for part of July, is it July?
She just said she'll be here tomorrow at 7 if anything else needs to be addressed. So I think everything that I gave her, I think she fixed. So I went through everything, printed stuff out for her. Why is this journal entry here? Why is it twice? Why is it? So,
Alright, but you're working on it.
working on it, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, Debbie, just as a reminder, Carlene's gonna be gone for part of July on vacation,
Yeah,
so I'll be signing the checks.
correct.
Okay.
Do you remember what those dates were?
From something to the 26th or something like that.
I have it on my calendar in my office.
Yeah, it's either 12th to 26th or at the 19th to 26th.
Okay.
Just let me know,
Yeah,
because I'm not gonna be gone.
Okay.
I'll be around the whole time.
mhm.
And then our appreciation letter for our Memorial Day parade volunteers.
I would like to see that go up this week.
I-
Would you?
I would love to see it. Well, I won't
Let's
be
do
here the
it.
rest of the week.
Oh.
Uh,
How
So,
about Jen? Did she deal with that?
no.
No. No, I'm not talking about,
Oh, I was gonna say, we
Jennifer
cannot
Mann.
dump anything else.
no, I'm talking about our floating,
I'm waiting for Ollie to get back to me with more names.
what do we
I
have to?
don't know who, well, cause we wanna send, you guys wanted to send a letter to each person on this list, correct?
Mm. And this list came,
I pulled these names.
cause I don't even.
I don't know if it's everybody.
Yeah, I don't know if I even recognize all these names.
mhm.
I know these people worked on it, but I don't
They
know if I'm assuming there's more. I didn't know the Boy Scout troop number, sadly. Does anybody know the Boy Scout troop number in town? Yeah, so I don't know that,
And then
but,
yeah, SVAS and the fire department were a part of the
Yeah.
second.
yeah. So,
In the police department.
yeah,
Don't wanna leave anybody off,
no, exactly.
so,
So I emailed Ollie and I'm waiting for him to get back to me with a,
I wonder if we could expedite, and I'm not trying to play favorites or anything, but that Messinic band was, they need recognition.
right,
In Smithville, they were fantastic.
I know you
And the
had said
choir.
that. Yep,
mhm.
Yeah, they need.
I wrote Messinic Band and the choir.
Yeah, you have them there.
And I looked up that, the
The director.
the music and band teacher. I
Oh.
looked up his name on the Messinic website.
Oh, and that's this John
yes.
Hellish?
I hope the website's right.
Yeah, and I just think he should really be recognized.
Troop
Yeah.
should be spelled
Oh, yeah.
Troop.
Excuse me 1 second. Sorry.
The whole fire department, well, there's a bunch of fire department people
Mhm.
involved with the trucks also.
Yep.
Before you texted me back.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
added SVAS, fire department, police department.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so he won't, or unless you put it in the police's box.
Yeah, alright,
You
I'll
might-
check, I'll track it down,
you
thanks,
might-
I just
you-
wanna get it to you.
Check Mike's box, yeah,
How much
but it
postage
says
will this
designee,
cost?
so I think it's fine. Okay.
Sorry, Dylan.
Do you have
We got two
addresses
quarters.
for all of these?
Pardon me?
Do you have the addresses for all of these?
Nope.
So, but Ollie must have contact for,
Right,
or Dawn.
right. I figured somebody would have. I mean, residents, if as long as they own a piece of property in town, I can look it up. I can look
Yeah.
up their mailing address, but
Do you want me to
Some
reach out
work
to,
for it,
Dawn and Carl and Linda, like I have all of their contact stuff. And see, cause they're a part of the committee, right?
Yeah,
I don't think Carl is. Dawn is. Linda.
that committee is a mystery then still, huh? Is there any records of it being appointed or there's no,
I've never
they're
looked.
not an elected committee? True, right?
What committee is this?
The Memorial Day
Oh, the
committee.
Memorial.
Cause I've had people ask again, how they joined the committee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's,
I'll get a hold of Dawn and see if I can
Okay.
get him to engage and,
All right.
you know, get Ollie to engage and get this hammered out so we can get all the recognition letters out.
Yeah.
And it'd be good to have them, who knows, maybe they have their own list of people that they contacted, and
Yeah,
that's all right there.
That's why I emailed Ollie. I figured he would
Yeah.
have the other one. I know we paid Tim Blaze to do like the cleanup and mowing and brush cutting and all that kind of stuff. Should probably put him on there.
He is on there.
Is he?
Yep.
yeah,
Should I put him there?
right next to his in-laws.
Oh, look at me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so
Alright.
efficient. I'm inefficient.
Yeah. So you can put me on the hook for that,
Okay.
or,
So I'll put that on my action
If
list.
while you're talking to them, could put the bug in their ear to, see about getting new members.
Yeah.
Or, you know, let them know that people are interested in.
yeah, try to encourage them to have a
Try to
meeting.
Yeah.
and-
Encourage,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
okay,
Together. It'd be
Alright.
And Debbie?
good.
Troop is spelled with 2 O's.
Oh wow.
Could the Memorial Day Committee have a website link off of your town website to be able to engage or discuss or share updates and memberships and things like that?
They do have a page on the website.
But
but
do they
it's
have a
not
link
very-
off the town's website
That's what I'm
that would
saying.
bring them there?
It's
They-
so if you go to the town website and you go to committees and you go to
Oh.
Memorial Day,
Yeah.
and I think it has all their names on there. I think
Mhm.
Oh,
I
so
think,
maybe they have a way to join their committee on their website.
possibly. Yeah, it's all on the town website, but
Okay,
it's just a
great.
different page.
Great.
I'll have to check that out. I'm pretty sure there is.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, there's the administration infrastructure for our town has been minimal
Yeah.
for a long time. So each board or committee, like if they had something like that, it would have been done by them or initiated and pushed by that committee or board. And so if it doesn't exist, like there's
Yeah.
no standardizing that we have followed throughout time. Like it's all just been each individual effort has pushed however they want. So I don't know how many options there are. Like once you click on Memorial Day Committee.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's just like one thing
It's right
that
here,
lists.
and it says, all it
Just
does is
Ollie.
list 4 committee members.
Oh, it does. Okay. I thought so.
That's Oliver, Nemi,
Lance
Lance
DePlant,
DePlant,
Jay
George.
Lewis.
George, Butch, Leal, and Don Poirier. That's it.
I don't even have Butch Leal on there. I don't.
There's no way to know how old that is either though, right?
Right.
It was put on the web at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and we've been like kind of transitioning. It seems like every time we get our footing and stuff starts going a
Yeah.
certain way.
It's the way of the world.
Yeah, you gotta like pivot and adjust.
Change.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Well, Meredith?
Alright, so I think we're good with that discussion right now.
That's a new one.
So, evening Meredith,
Good evening.
how you doing?
Good. You have a break
What-
just a second?
You walk in, you get the floor.
That's because I still got this shirt on. I just need a fireworks permit signed for
Oh,
Ms.
I
Deaton.
don't want that on TV. Thanks.
Well, it meets the requirements.
I know. I know.
It's everybody lives in
I
town.
was wondering
Everybody
why it
gets
was
a
like
permit.
hand delivered.
Well,
Well, it was in
because
her
she
box.
can't sign her own, and she's your designee.
Yeah.
So rather than
I sign
have
all
her
the
sign
other
her own.
ones, but I can't
Yeah.
sign my own.
That's the only reason I had her sign it. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Is it? I thought
Oh, no
I
worries.
thought that was the new form.
That's the old form.
Yeah.
The new form says or designee.
Doesn't that one say or designate?
That one says 3 selectmen signatures.
Oh. Okay.
I'll make her destroy the old one and I'll send her an email. So if I get one of your signatures on it, that would be great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Unless you all want to sign it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Our new
I'll
our
find
new
it.
reg
I
site
don't
is
know
just
why
one
I
more
don't
sign.
have the new form.
It's on the website.
I pulled it off my desktop,
I was
which
worried.
probably
Thank you.
explains
Sorry
why
to
it's.
disrupt and get the town administrator in trouble.
Thank
Somebody's
you.
updating the website.
See? A little snapshot.
Yeah.
Perfect.
See how we divert?
Yeah. Alright, and then on to the policies and procedure topic. Did you all like that example from Wilton that Debbie had sent?
Yes,
Isn't it awesome?
it is.
And it does look like they decided to almost do kind of what we're looking at doing, but shied away from signing off on it, but picking a date, formalizing it all, putting it together in a packet, and then the full board signing it. Like they all signed
Yeah.
every single ordinance,
Yeah.
like at that time
Right.
Right.
to reassert them.
Yep.
Now, Mike said he was going to try to get that in Word format,
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
so we can modify it to our needs.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
We have our own ordinances
Yeah.
that are worded our own
right.
ways. There's just more or less coming up with the number, like the sequencing.
Yeah.
And the indexing.
Yeah, I
very
love that
nice,
index.
yeah.
I mean, I was gonna do it on a spreadsheet, but table of contents is good too,
Yeah.
you know, either way.
Yeah.
And they all have numbers.
Yeah.
And then if you amend them in the future, I am gonna do a spreadsheet though with it, because anything that gets amended, we can track that too, cause there's so many,
Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry, there's just a lot of things that have been changed over the years, and we don't know when they were changed. If everything on the website, I don't even know if those are just originals and new ones. Did the new ones replace it? Are the new ones on? I have no idea. And there's supposedly supposed to be a file of all ordinances, etc., in the town clerk's office, but I never saw one.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just don't know.
So more or less, like, would you like Debbie to continue her efforts and use this as a model?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think
Yeah.
if we're going to number them, articles 1, 2, 3, that would probably be an amendment, wouldn't it?
Well, we don't have a book.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
no.
so we're
We
making
just
the
have-
book right
So we're
now.
making the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
I suppose
creating.
we're gonna sign off on each one when it's in its final form.
Right, and
Right.
there was a line on there that basically said that this supersedes everything that was done previously.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did add that other one, that other line, the new one is in there of the alcohol one.
Okay.
That you guys wanted to
Yeah.
make a couple tweak. So, should we save them all and do them all at once? Like as we work on them? Do you wanna just like go through them and this one's good as is and we'll just sign it saying, yep,
Well, I think it'd be good to have a full booklet.
right, no, I
of it.
agree.
Yeah,
But
not
I
just-
didn't know if you wanna sign them
Sign them all at once.
as we do them or sign them all at once.
Well, we have to review them first, right?
Well, yeah,
Before
Yeah.
yeah,
Sign
so we
it.
have to, no, I know, that's what I'm saying. Once, do you wanna, as we do each one, do you want me to, the following week, I'll type it up and bring it and you guys sign it one by one or however many we do on that previous meeting? Or do you wanna wait till we get through the whole thing?
there is a problem with that,
Yes, there is.
is then it has the potential of never getting signed.
Exactly. I mean, I don't have a problem, you know, if we wanna do it this way, and then once they're all done, then I can compile them in the book. You know what I mean? But, I mean, some of those are good examples, they're vetted by attorneys, you know what I mean, in that book too. Not just the format of everything, the actual ordinance,
Right.
so,
Now, I would tend to think we're not gonna be amending very many ordinances.
No, because even like some of the ones that I had kind of alluded to that weren't, I don't know. You can't really just, you can't have chaos and havoc. Like all
Well, you know, the only thing I'm concerned with is those are already vetted by a legal department.
Possibly.
maybe,
You don't know this.
we don't know.
Lou, we could make an ordinance right now and just, you know, like sign
I
off on
understand
it.
that
We
What
could
we-
declare
what we
public
can.
parking on Old Beaver Road.
But I'm
There you go. Park your 18
Good
wheelers.
what I'm thinking about is that if we get them all done, I mean, that's a real good template to use. Obviously, we have to
Mhm.
change names of streets and, you know, and different things like that. But, I think it would actually show a unified force if everything just came out at one time and it's released at one time, rather than feeding it out a little bit at a time.
No, I agree. So put the book together, like our New Ipswich book, and then we'll go through it, you know, and have everything all like retyped. So it's not like all the old ordinances, but we can still have those old ones for reference back to. And I don't think we're looking to change any of the old language because that was the old ordinance, unless there's
So I-
elements that we want to.
Yeah, I did
change.
retype them all in 2017,
I know. Yeah.
so, I mean,
So if
you
they were
want,
just indexed and put in a book,
Index, put in a book, signature lines, just like this, like that little
Yeah.
block
which
at
I
the end
did.
of each one, and any associated forms with the ordinance that, you know, speaks to a permit of it, like the fireworks permit,
Right.
the newest one should be in with this
That.
booklet too,
Right,
cause that's
okay.
something else that I liked with
Yeah,
this, is that they had all the forms right in there.
right.
Will you guys maintain that book as a paper copy or will it be an electronic copy?
Both. So
Okay.
a paper copy has to go to the town clerk's office, and all of them will be on the website.
And you could just link the form.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, all in one spot.
Yeah. Like right now, the I mean, it's from 2022. It's from last year when the 4th of July is coming up and everybody's doing fireworks. There's a thing under the news section, but you have to view all and then scroll down. So I think we should put that back up to the top. But it has the fireworks ordinances, what's prohibited, what's allowed, and the form itself that you have to fill out to get a fireworks permit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Hmm. Difficult to find today, won't be in a month or 6.
so what you want me to do is all those ordinances that I retyped, put them in a little binder for you guys. 3 of them, right? Or do you just want one book? Because what if you want to change them?
Well, if we
Yeah,
don't
Or what
put
if
them
we
in a
need
binder
to
yet, just-
we need to
This
add
is fine.
fines?
Yeah.
I think a stapled
but
for
clearly
working copy.
this came out of a binder, so like one copy in a binder, probably the one that's gonna be in Lisa's
Right.
the tax collector's
Yeah.
office. You should have
And I'll
one in
keep
your
one in my
office.
office.
Yeah. One
Right.
should
One
be in
at-
here.
At the PD.
Yeah, one
Yeah.
at the PD probably. So there's gonna be many binders, but
But I
like
think
for us to work off of, this
Right.
is
just a
Well-
stapled thing is
Well,
fine.
for you to work off of is the one that I gave you
Yeah,
a few weeks ago.
yeah,
All of these.
Mhm.
we already have it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The only thing that would be changed is this.
Yeah. Well, because these are all the old ones.
Yeah, I think I have both, but
Yeah.
I'd email both of them to us.
Yeah, I didn't print out to go over all the retyped ones.
Hmm.
But like, I mean, if we're gonna change, we don't have any fines on half of these. We don't have any, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they can't enforce it if they don't have fines. All of that.
There's also,
I'm just trying to understand the assignment.
Just to put it-
As they
get it-
say on
yeah,
TikTok.
To get it all indexed and organized, like
Okay.
I guess is where I'm
Okay.
at right now.
All right.
And then go
Give
from
them
there.
numbers.
Yeah.
and there
Okay.
should also be reference, or at least, and I can do it if you just give them to me. Reference each one of them to what the RSA say, to make sure that there's no conflict between the town ordinance and the state ordinances.
Well, if you'd like to research that, I wouldn't object.
I will do that.
Oh, yeah, feel free, because I don't have time.
I-
I mean, some of them may have RSAs on them. Some of them
Some of
maybe
them do
don't need
have,
an
yeah,
RSA.
Yeah,
It's
And
just
that's
this
why-
is what the town says.
right, and that's very true on some things. And then, I think we should, run it all by Mike to make sure he's okay with it, cause he's the one who's gonna have to enforce them.
Mhm. Well, they're already on the books, all these ordinances, and he says he has expressed the issue of not feeling like he could enforce it because there's not any type of monetary like structure behind it.
Right.
Mhm.
Besides saying, hey, this is an ordinance, please quiet down. It's not, well, this is gonna come with a $50 ticket this time,
Right.
100 the next time, and 5,000 the next, or whatever it may be. Like there's no escalation for the police department except for to get called out all like numerous times and just say, please, like, obey.
And all the funds, again, if they do write a ticket for anything, it goes to the state, not the town.
So it'd be
if
good
we
for
have
him
these
to identify
enforcement.
ones that are lacking
Right.
that he knows of, because I'm sure there's a few right off the top of his head.
Yeah.
And just make those recommendations right off the bat, really.
Okay.
Well,
And
all
if
the
he's already
ordinances
looking
that
at
we
this-
write is a town ordinance and not necessarily a state ordinance. Even though they may say the same thing.
No, I get that, Lou, but I'm just asking Mike to identify the ones that there's issues with locally. you know, like right off the bat.
You could see that on every street.
That's fun. And that's the part I want to strike out. So, I don't know. But it would be good, like, just to get his input. I think that's where we were at
Yeah.
before anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had sent him an email, and he got that Wilton thing for me,
It sounds like he's working on it, and,
yeah,
alright.
I don't think he has anything officially to review at this time, does he?
Well, to make a recommendation for where
Oh.
he feels like he's not able to enforce something
Yeah.
because of that lack of fine structure. And then to make sure that we put that in when we formalize it.
Yeah, and since I've got the police department, I can go ahead and you know, keep in touch with him, communicate with him about how he feels about it as these things come up.
Okay.
Yeah, I did talk to him today. I see on our agenda, Antique Fire Brigade is coming up. Related to that, I found some documents from the old PD and brought them up to him.
Okay.
And I just asked him if he was doing much on the policy. And it sounded like he had a few areas where he did want to give input.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So encourage that input ahead of time and not at the end.
Okay.
Yep. Alright, so moving on to the Antique Fire Brigade building. Is that right across, right by the side of the church there, right?
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's
So we
having
have
that
two Heritage
conversation?
Commission members here. I think last time I did all the talking. We'll let her
Oh, man,
for Heritage.
okay,
And then I'll
so,
correct you.
okay. Ah, I love you. So the Heritage Commission went over to the Antique Fire Brigade building. I took pictures too of the old Wachusett and the is the Wachusett the 1927? And the hand pumper is 1898 or something. So I took some pictures of those. At the Heritage Commission, we were discussing the possibility of selling the building and trying to find somewhere to rehome and refurbish the two vehicles that are in there. So it's a discussion Jason was having, and so apparently there's someone that's interested in purchasing the building, and I'm not sure who suggested the funds from the sale of that property could go to partially rehoming and refurbishing those two pieces of equipment, and the rest of it could go into the Heritage Commission revolving fund to try to get a little base of money to start working on the old town hall, if that was a thing that the selectmen would
No, that we can see from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
be
the hand
willing to.
pumper.
Mhm.
Have you seen these? Oh, you've been in there. I see.
So it was
Here-
a thought, and also we own that parking lot next to the church, between the church and the Antique Fire Brigade. So I was thinking, if we merged that land with the building, because there's once again, like the old town hall, there's a postage stamp around the building itself for land, so there's no parking, no septic, no well, no nothing. But I think it shares. Did you say it? Or Phil said it shares a well with
Phil.
the church.
Thought it did share
And
the
septic.
well and the septic.
With the church.
I thought the septic was coming off of the building on the other side, the Friendship Manor or whatever it was.
No,
No, there's
different building.
different building. We're over by where the clock is.
Oh,
Yeah, in the Civil War. So that, if you look on the ceiling, you'll see one reason. Besides the exterior,
Yeah.
the interior has.
Ugh, so much black,
Black
mold.
mold.
It's
Yeah.
horrible.
And
It's all the ceilings crumbling down. It's
somebody did do some kind of study there. I don't know who it is, but they cut exploratory holes
yeah.
where the carrying timber was, and then they left notes
Oh yeah.
on
The beam
cardboard
was okay
saying
and-
that the beam and post are okay.
Right.
dated such and such time.
But there's holes in the building, the chimney is basically crumbling.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
yeah, it needs to be let go or.
Right, so
Yeah.
that was one of the things
Renovated,
I was
yeah.
thinking if we could, I think it would cost.
Well, no, I'm saying that's our options, you know, it's
Yeah,
like either
right.
we have to, you know,
I think it would cost a
Yeah.
fortune to renovate it,
yeah.
but, so that was one of the things I was thinking for, the auction.
So we had a
Get
vote
the-
on it then at the Heritage Commission meeting
Yeah, we voted to ask the selectmen
to recommend to the selectmen
to, yeah,
to
that
sell
we-
it.
Does that become a conflict of interest for the two of you?
well, not me, cause I'm not a voting member, but he would have to recuse himself,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter,
You don't have
but
to-
it is nothing to vote on, it's just a recommendation.
Right.
Yeah, it's not, he doesn't recuse himself, cause that's like, he's not gonna get any money
Yeah,
from
right,
it,
well,
you know, it just,
yeah, true.
I don't know.
Other than my salary here.
Yeah, so.
No
Is
recusals.
that double
Yeah, so we
dipping?
did take a vote, it was unanimous that we were gonna recommend to the selectmen to put it on the auction block
Or
or
however the
sell it,
selectmen
or
see
however
fit.
the selectmen see fit to sell it.
So that building itself has no other historical value to the community?
What
I don't
is
think
that
it was that
tax?
old.
I think I looked on the tax card, it's not that old, is
No.
it? Like,
No, it's not 1800s,
no,
it's like was it 40s or 50s or something?
something like that.
Yeah, it's not an old,
I
It's
know
not a
it has
historical
sentimental
pro-
value to a lot of people, or at
Right.
least a number of people in town.
yeah,
There was an effort to restore it at one time. Somehow it ran out of steam, but there's a group of people who were at one time passionate about it now.
yeah.
Yeah, do you think they're passionate about it because of the contents? More so than the structure itself,
I
or?
don't know.
Used
I
to be the
remember-
police station.
Yeah, it was a police station.
So what did you guys think about having a public hearing on it, like just a
That was
sort
what
of call out,
we were talking
kinda-
about. It
yeah.
could be handled on a warrant article.
not a warrant article, but at least a public hearing,
Public hearing is
Yeah,
another way.
to hold and, you know, put that notice out to the community that
See what
this is what
anybody
we're
thinks.
discussing, and, yeah, I think that'd be the best way to go about it.
And the thought was, yeah, it isn't like everything. It's not cut and dry like Deb mentioned.
Yeah,
You have an L-shaped lot, and then you have a square lot to make a rectangle. Both are owned by the town. Check the deeds. We haven't checked any of the deeds.
Right.
There may be a right-of-way given to the church. Who knows what kind of complications could arise from trying to combine them two lots into one to sell.
Yeah,
It seemed to me just
yeah,
at first glance, it seemed like this isn't something that's gonna happen in 2 months, but
I
Yeah.
think it'd be worthwhile to take action on it sooner rather than later, just cause it's already been, you know, showing the signs of
yeah,
Yeah.
being ignored for too
and
long.
becoming a hazard.
Yeah,
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 definitely.
so we get that off our hands potentially before winter.
Okay,
So I went to the informal thing at the fire station for Meredith, the
Mhm.
retirement
Yeah.
thing. And while I was there, there's a group of the firemen there, and I asked them if they were interested in having a hand in the equipment that's there. Both, I think the way I might have put it was, you guys want a mascot?
Yeah, yeah.
And their eyes lit up.
Mhm.
yeah,
And
so
there
there's
was some
definitely
talk, and I don't
options.
have all the, I don't remember all the facts, so I won't say too much, but there was talk in previous years at the fire station of taking over them two pieces of equipment. And I told them I thought it was fitting, rather than have us in charge of them two pieces of equipment.
Mhm.
But they need to stay
Yes.
in the hands of the town, cause they were talking about like some
There's
grants
possibility
or
of
possibility of grant money to restore them, but then
yeah,
you don't own them anymore.
possibly. You don't know how that
Yeah.
all works. I think
Right.
it was either George or Meredith mentioned that one of the associations that they belong to,
Yeah.
you know, basically gave that offer
Mm-hmm.
of helping to restore, possibly maintain, so I don't know if you're meeting with the fire department still as liaison or,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Who,
That
who
might be-
owns the current fire equipment in town?
You,
The town owns it, right?
Yeah.
For the most
Wouldn't
part,
this be part of that fleet? Wouldn't this fall into the same category?
you would think.
yeah, so some of the equipment we have on loan, I think there's one apparatus that's on loan from the state.
But the
And a
stuff
couple
that
other
is,
things, yeah.
the proper equipment belongs
Yeah.
to the town.
Yep,
So
Yeah.
this wouldn't change hands then, it would still belong to the town, if it went to the fire department, right?
but what
We-
she's
we were
saying
talking
is
about it.
like grant money, like so if you went out to get some of these other grants, then you relinquish ownership of it,
Possibly.
possibly.
Don't
There's
know.
some grants out there, I guess, that are for restoring old,
Oh, I see. Oh,
Really
you didn't know
old.
private money.
no, state
Still
grants,
state
federal
money.
grants.
But
But-
what they were alluding to, I think it would probably be private money, right?
Oh, was
The
it? Oh, I
Firefighters
don't- I don't-
Association, or
Yeah.
that wouldn't be a state organization, is it?
I don't know,
I
but
don't know.
it'd be great to have the greater discussion,
Yeah, I agree.
like that whole thing, so I don't know if you guys want to pick
pick a date.
a date for the public hearing. And then we'd invite the fire department down, like everybody involved, and who knows, we may even want to move it out of here and go to something a little bit bigger if it's gonna be,
A lot of interest.
yeah,
Like the SAU building.
yeah.
Just kidding. How about August 15th? Too far away? July 25th?
I'm not here that week, August 15th.
Okay. July 25th?
Debbie, are you doing a public hearing just for the equipment or for the buildings and equipment?
It would be a combination.
To talk about the whole thing.
I see.
Just to
Full
let the town,
package.
you know,
How much,
so we're trying to be transparent in everything we do, so we wanna make sure that if we're gonna sell the antique fire brigade building, make sure everybody in town is cool with it, as opposed to, you know, you didn't tell us you were doing that. Well,
Yeah.
if you don't come, we're gonna put it in the paper, we're gonna put it on the website, and if you don't come and then you have an objection,
Sure.
you know, you don't, just like voting.
Mhm.
You don't go to vote, don't complain.
Right.
Well, I don't know if anyone follows that rule.
No, nobody follows that rule, but, you know, same,
Yeah.
similar.
I think July 25th should be good.
Alright, July 25th.
What do we need to
I'll
get
put it
done
in the
before
paper.
that meeting then?
So I need to look up the deeds,
Yeah,
find out about merging that, find out from, so you can, who's the fire,
yeah,
talk to them about, what they know about any kind of grants or whatever for restoring the fire trucks,
mm,
where we're gonna keep them, and if we do, once we do sell it.
Interestingly, the license plate on that truck is 2020.
Yeah, it has a 2020 sticker on it, we
Indicates-
registered it.
It
yeah,
was running in the not too distant past, so
Yeah. Yeah.
restoration,
maybe not too much,
it may not be.
yeah, yeah.
Look at this list is getting longer and longer. So I'm gonna try to find the deeds for the property and the land and the building.
And do you think that, cause I know we have a choice as selectmen, whether we auction it or just put it on the general market?
The building,
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think would be?
I think we should have the public hearing first and see what comes from the community, and at that point, you know my opinions on the auctions, I think that's just another layer of, hey, we're selling this piece of property, cause then that's all that advertisement goes out,
Right.
like associated with it, and anybody that's interested has, can come in and, you get it for the lowest dollar bid that day,
Right.
instead of someone
Who
potentially
knows how long it'll
overpaying
be on
just
the
to
market.
like dissuade someone else from having it available to them, but I do understand that we are allowed to sell the property to an abutter, which
Yeah,
I've heard is an interested party as well.
well, you can
Yeah.
also, I mean, you can sell it to anybody.
Yeah.
You don't, it doesn't have to
That's
be
what
a
I
butter.
meant by
It
general
doesn't have to be
market
in a
is
butter.
just listed on, with an agent.
Yeah.
Um,
It just
either
seems
way,
like
but
there,
at your
there's
point-
just so much potential of the ifs and the
Yeah,
Your
conspiracy,
point
yeah.
of really getting it out there so that
Right.
everybody knows is very true, because
Yeah, it's
I'm
true.
still getting asked about the highway garage.
same,
Hey, that was on auction. What's going on with that thing?
Right.
So
Yeah.
everybody knows.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But of course, that one there was also in the warrant article, telling
Yeah.
the selectmen to sell it.
Yep.
We're trying.
Yeah.
and then there
Just
was,
kick the
and
can down
then
the road a few.
there was a warrant article to rescind selling that
When?
back in the day. And they redid it again to give permission. It was back in the day. I found that when I was looking for warrant articles for my, what a segue that was.
Are we done with Antique Fire Brigade?
I think so,
So
yeah,
we're
because we're
gonna-
gonna have the public
So I'm gonna
hearing.
put it in the paper, I'll put it in the week before.
Yeah.
First, oh, that's all it requires is 1 week.
Well, I mean, we don't even have to do it, so,
Right, but legally to qualify as a true public hearing, isn't there?
I think it's 10 days.
There notices? Yeah. We need to first figure out.
So I'll put it in the paper July 11th, which is right around the corner. I don't know, I prefer to put it in the week before because that way it's
It's
fresh on their
fresh.
mind. Whereas you put it in, 2 weeks before, then it's like, when was that again? Or they
just
forget
run it
about
twice. A week and then the week after. It's a couple dollars. It's worthwhile. I just don't know. I don't want to open up a rat's nest with selling that piece of property and then finding out something afterwards. So I
Yeah,
would really like it to be over advertised, over the opportunity for someone to weigh in. Make a great effort, like make our best effort towards
okay.
getting it out there. The word. Because,
So,
like you guys had said, someone went through at one point and checked out the structure, and it even looks like that was registered, within recent time, and
The equipment was,
yeah. So it's worthwhile to find out, who did that and why, and what the tone of even just 5 years ago was.
so I'm
I don't
gonna put
know.
it in 4 papers, 11, 13, 18, and 20.
Why did you so extreme?
Because
How'd it
it's
go
gonna
from the-
cost like $300 to do that.
Yeah, but so we were going from 1 week and then 2 weeks, and now we're at 4 weeks.
No, it's not
Oh.
weeks, it's 4 paper, they publish Tuesday and Thursday. So
Oh,
it's 2
like
weeks
it
before.
runs. Oh, I thought you were saying like
No.
it's like do a whole month's work.
No, 11th, 13th, 18th, and 20th is 4, and it's like $75 a whack.
But we wouldn't need to do all.
Yeah, can you pick and choose like
Can you
I
Tuesday,
could
Tuesdays,
say
Thursday?
just do the Tuesdays or just do the Thursdays.
I
Mhm.
think that's better.
You wanna do the Thursdays?
Yeah, the Thursdays.
Alright, so the 13th
What
and the
month is
20th.
this happening? Or what dates?
July 25th.
Okay.
And they'll do it 7:00.
Okay,
And for now, it's right here until we're out in the, talking to people, try to get input back and see if there's a lot of interest, and then if there is, we'll look to shift.
okay, cool.
And then Peter's retirement party, August 16th.
Yeah, so his last day is officially the 31st,
Mm.
but I was thinking, can we have it on the 16th? He said that works for him.
Is that like a regularly scheduled staff meeting day, the 16th?
It
is
is.
That, yeah.
Yeah. But I was thinking like an actual, not during a staff meeting, but
No, I,
like
yeah.
a lunchtime thing.
Should we have a
Yeah.
cookout again? Like a big
That'd
cookout?
be great. I love that.
This Peters,
Yeah.
what did you say, 16th?
August 16th.
Mhm. You do like a pig roast even?
Oh.
Invite
Well,
everybody down.
he does like Chinese food. He wanted Chinese
Oh, you
food.
want a Chinese food?
I asked him.
Oh, that's
I
simple.
asked him what he wanted. He said Chinese food.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like a pig roast.
Kinda.
Yeah.
That's true.
Alright, we plan on that.
Yeah.
So do you want to do like the 11:30 to 1:30 like we usually do, or are you guys gonna be there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make every effort again. Like,
Okay.
don't have the best track record middays and end of days. Yep.
Alright, cool. That's awesome.
You said 11:30 to
11:30 to 1:30. We'll just get Chinese food. Cool.
You good?
Yeah, I did wanna, I've been working on the capital reserve list, and you'd think it would be easy to find things when there were a warrant article and who's the agent to expend and et cetera, for 12 accounts, but it's proving to be quite the challenge. So, a lot of, I know, and a lot of them, like they didn't list an agent to expend, so,
So not
which
only do you have
means
to
that's a town
interpret,
vote. Yeah,
not only do you have to interpret what it can be used for, you have to interpret who gets to authorize it.
correct. Which that part's the easy part, if they wrote anybody. But if they didn't write anybody,
That's what I
then
mean.
it has to go so if you want to buy a new police cruiser, you have to wait to get authorized. I'm using this as an example.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe-
bad example because
That's a bad
it's
example
not
because the board
reality.
of selectmen
Yeah.
is all right.
This is not the
Are you
stuff
sure
yet.
about this?
All right, the fire department capital reserve.
Have cruisers later.
If you want to buy a fire truck, you can't just the fire chief can't just come to the board of selectmen and say, "Hey, I need $400,000 out of my capital reserve to buy a new fire truck," and you guys say, "Sure." It has to wait till March to go for a vote.
That I remember.
Yeah.
Every year.
So there's a
Whenever
lot
they
of these that didn't list an agent to expend. One of them was the highway department expendable capital reserve. Originally, when that was set up, it didn't list anyone, which meant it had to go to the town vote in March. And in 2011, they tweaked the name of the capital reserve and made the board of selectmen agents to expend, because they were having a hard time, like if they needed a new truck, like, or the plow broke or whatever it was, and it was a big expense, they couldn't get the money, they had to wait until the following year. So, I mean, you can't wait to get a plow, so.
So even that update,
so they
when you found
changed.
that, how did you find that? Because you went back to the original and then.
So I
Found
found the
things.
original, but Peter was saying, "Oh no," because I found the original one and it didn't list anyone, and he said, "Yeah, but since I've been here, that was changed." So he knew what ballpark, what year it was. So he gave me the 2011.
So even the fire department one, like you would want to ask Meredith because I
right.
think that was changed about 5 years
I
ago
think so too. Yeah.
So.
So I was just kind of talking to Peter about it. So, I mean, it's literally you have to go through every town report for every year to see if anything was amended, changed, whatever. So,
But again, another thing for a
Yeah.
book, and then as votes are happening,
exactly.
to go back and
Right.
change it,
Yeah, like
officially.
there needs to be like another spreadsheet.
yeah, compiled.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Is there an option for any account that doesn't have anyone listed, to say that it automatically defers to this organization or this
it
group?
automatically defers to the town vote. If there's
That's
no one,
state
if there's
law.
no one listed, it has to go
So
to
that's
on the
state
warrant
law.
article, right? So at any time, excuse me, during any election cycle, we can put on a ballot, to give, change it from town vote to, or just give the Board of Selectmen authority as the agents to expend whatever fund it is.
Hmm.
So, and some of them, like there's a land conservation one that the conservation commission has control of it, but the board of selectmen are the agents to expend, and it says that clearly in the warrant article. And that's like in those warrant articles we created last year to create the, you know, the revolving fund for the heritage,
Yeah.
and then Meredith created the new communication capital reserve. That those specifically listed who were the agents to expend. The
Yeah.
trustees will hold the funds, and then, or the treasurer will hold the funds, and which in essence is the trustees of the trust funds. And the BOS are the agents to expend.
Yeah.
So,
It'd be good to have that all compiled
Trying.
and trackable too.
yeah, exactly. And if there's any amendments to it, like
Yeah.
how are you supposed to know?
Well, we can only take the the knowledge that we have today, and it's going to be
Right.
the most up to date. I would
Right.
think the different department heads that were impacted by
Right,
those votes, they would know,
right,
and then you can find them
yeah,
in the town reports.
right,
Yeah.
if you know,
Which I'm
So-
sure Meredith knows.
right.
Yeah.
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 And that's how I was trying to find all the road stuff. Cause back in the day there were warrant articles, so like in the 1800s, and I keep pointing over there cause that's where all our old town reports are, sorry, I'm not waving at you. But like going through those and trying to find, like if you had a ballpark when this road was accepted as, as a town road, but there's a lot of them that,
And that kind of
They
gets
were
into
just-
like another effort that's been tossed around quite a bit of digitizing everything.
right,
Because if we had everything scanned and searchable,
right.
that would really help today too.
I've- So we do have all the old town reports. They were bound into books, like because they were tiny little skinny things back in the day,
Mhm.
like in the 1800s, early 1900s, and so they're bound into books, probably 10 years in a book, with a hardcover binding. Like we could have those scanned.
Yeah.
I can get a price from that guy who did the.
Are they handwritten?
Some of them I actually had all the old handwritten tax
Yeah.
collector books. You got charged by head of cattle and how many horses
Yeah,
and how many
yeah, interesting.
it's amazing, and the handwriting is beautiful.
So
It's like
hopefully
the
you don't
Declaration
have
of
that part.
Independence.
She gets scanned and
Yeah.
searched up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, and a lot of them, there were a couple that they couldn't scan because they were too moldy, and they've
Oh,
been sitting in
sure.
the basement down here for hundreds of years. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the town, I would love to have all the town reports, although UNH has them all. I don't know how far back they go, but every year when you create your town report, you have to send a paper copy, an actual physical copy to UNH library. I wonder how far back they go.
Yeah.
I just
That's
thought of
interesting.
that.
Do they scan them?
Yeah.
They do.
So
hmm
interesting.
Yeah, for every town in the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So they're keeping that whole.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Archiving
This-
it all. I
Somewhere.
have to check that.
Some snapshot is like
Yeah.
there each year.
To have access to that database.
Yeah, anybody can.
Really?
Just go on UNH website, UNH library. I think I typed in one time because I was looking for something, and I kind of forgot about that. I wonder,
Yeah.
because then it would be searchable PDF.
Yeah.
PDF.
Yeah.
But I think I typed in New Ipswich Town Report, UNH or something like that, and
Brought you there.
or I went to the UNH library website and then typed in New Ipswich, or I forget what it was, but yeah, it's pretty cool because
Yeah.
they're all there.
Alright.
All right. That
Good.
is all.
Jason, do you have anything that you want to discuss in particular this evening?
I could go last.
Okay. Lou?
No.
Okay. One main thing that I wanted to kind of discuss was the fire department's looking to have a pinning ceremony for
Okay.
Gary. And they were thinking we'd probably have to get a bigger venue, and they typically meet on Tuesday evenings as well.
Let's see.
So we could have our, select board meeting ahead of the pinning ceremony, cause I believe they're looking at, what they'd asked for was 6:30 at night. So I didn't know if you guys were
When was that?
July 11th.
And where was it going to take place?
Messinic. So you guys okay with us having our meeting at 5 at Messinic and then running into the pinning ceremony? Or would you rather hold our normal meeting here and then drive over?
What did we just put on the agenda for that day?
Nothing. With July 25th. I have something in my book though, I think, for July 11th.
So this is,
Oh no, the budget.
so this is July,
Well,
This
yeah,
is
it's just the
July
budget
11th.
worksheet day.
Yeah,
so this is
That's it.
July 11th.
Yeah.
July 11th.
Yeah.
Pinning ceremony, 6:30 at Messinic.
And the gym or the auditorium?
I don't know, this is the first
Probably the
I've-
auditorium,
is
but
the
I'll see
first
what
I've
I can
heard.
get from Messinic, so.
Are we reserving it or is the fire department?
No, we can. I've been working with Craig for a lot of
Yeah,
the facility use
Okay.
stuff, so, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Make sure it goes through the proper channels.
Oh yeah. He's been pretty good,
I got
For
my
us.
wrist slapped.
yeah.
Alright, so we're gonna have our meeting here at 5 or there at 5?
If that's all we have is a budget, I say we come here.
Right.
Do you think? Or what? Or were you thinking opposite?
I think it'd be good to have, things set up there, cause they'll give us the opportunity to have a camera to at least record the meeting and then
Mm.
post it after. And it won't create havoc of, rushing out of here potentially and getting over there to get set up and stuff
So where are you thinking we would be meeting?
in the auditorium, just ahead of that ceremony. So if they wanted to have the ceremony at 6:30, we'd probably look to wrap up the select board meeting at 6. And then go into that pinning ceremony.
It doesn't matter to me. Either place is fine.
How guys, however you wanna do it.
Okay. Alright, so we'll do July 11th, at Messinic. We'll do our select board meeting there. Granted, if I, can get the space, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
well, I mean,
but,
school's out for the summer,
no, I know, I just don't wanna assume, so.
hopefully.
yeah,
No, I know,
yeah.
should be.
I'll ask Craig,
Okay,
send him an email tonight.
okay.
Alright,
And that
And
could
Sandy
potentially be with the FAC.
at 5,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I have dialogue going with Becky in regards to potentially paying people. Not that she's agreeing to anything or anything, but it's just at our look at that July 11th meeting for the NITV committee. We're going to discuss that at 4.
I'm
4
sorry.
o'clock?
Yeah, 4
Oh,
o'clock.
at your,
Yeah, at the
wow,
New Ipswich TV
okay.
thing meeting,
When's that?
July 11th.
Oh, that's
At 4.
that's also,
Yeah,
okay.
We're not we don't, it's,
I
it,
understand that.
oh, okay, I didn't,
that's all I got.
Alright,
You're up.
so
hang on
last,
1 second, sorry. Okay,
last week we had a group of, I think there was 4 or 5 residents came in talking about their experience at the executive council meeting on October 13, 2021. How we segue this, because we haven't had cameras for a while. We talked in previous meetings how the selectmen were active in the past in
Way past.
what's that?
Way past.
At least one instance of looking out for their residents beyond filling potholes. And that was, I think it was before the War of 1812. There was the Embargo Act. And the selectmen took it on themselves to write to the president and say, this is hurting our people. We need to stop this Embargo Act. In my mind, after listening to these people who were at the executive council meeting, we're in a similar position. And I think seeing the video and talking to the people, I volunteered to draft up a letter. And I don't know if you guys would like to, this is a rough draft.
Yeah.
It's a little bit unorthodox for selectmen to do this, and this is just pretty much my thoughts, and I'm not married to them.
Okay.
Because I'm not expecting that the board would be 100% with my thinking, but a starting point.
Are you gonna read it out loud or?
I don't know.
No, I don't wanna have any knowledge of what that might look like.
It's a rough draft, so I'll leave it up to the
It
chairman.
says,
whether he
what
wants
were
to
they
read
talking
it.
about? I have no idea.
Well, what it was, on
I don't think it should be read out loud necessarily.
Yeah, 'cause it's
then
a
it
rough-
becomes
I agree.
print. Yeah.
Right.
Working
Yeah.
draft.
Yeah.
but I'm saying that the week previous.
Because already, within a couple sentences, I understand your sentiment.
Yeah.
But I don't know
Yep.
if that should necessarily go off.
Geez,
I don't know if you've ever
can you
heard of-
explain? I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
quite follow the track of
So,
1812 and,
well,
I mean, just in general.
in general, this was this October 13th, 2021 meeting that was held at the Executive Council. So that would be in the State House. The governor was chairing it. There was 9 people arrested at that meeting for you can watch it. If you search it online, you can watch for yourself. What we saw was people standing with their backs to the council, holding up signs of protest, and then being arrested.
The charges were.
The key,
Disorderly conduct. And literally, you can see in the video, they're literally just, some of them were sitting, facing the executive council. Some of them had their backs to the governor and company and were holding signs, not making a peep. Nobody said a word. And then you see him on his phone, like texting, and then
Him
looking
as the governor?
yeah, and then looking over and going, like giving the nod, yep, them, because you see the state police moving through the crowd. And they took a couple of people out into the back, and all of a sudden you hear him go, "Why am I being arrested?" And then the crowd got a little like, "What? Why are they arresting him? Nobody did anything." Like everyone was quiet. I found that really disturbing.
It was very disturbing.
Gotcha.
That
Yeah, it would
that
be.
you have the right to peacefully
But it
protest.
wasn't just
no
them
one said
too.
a word, And then they ended up singling people out. There was an elderly woman that she went out kicking and screaming. They cuffed her, and
Was anybody ever prosecuted or no?
So all
It's
of them
still
were
going
then
on.
hauled to jail.
Yeah.
A condition of their bail, as I understood it, was that they had a restraining order, which would make so that they could not be in the same building or property where the governor was, which effectively says you can no longer go to a protest.
right.
Wow.
And you watch the troopers going through, and you see the people's reactions, and they're stunned.
And they're even the people who are being arrested. They're like, "Why am I being arrested?" And they just laughed at them. Like they didn't even tell them what. Like you're sitting there not saying a word, and all of a sudden, tap on the shoulder, "Come with me."
And this is all recorded.
It's
Yeah.
all on video.
You can
It's
search
insane.
it up. And
I
right
actually-
now, currently, the governor is being subpoenaed to one of them people's
Yeah.
trials. One of the people that came to our meeting was arrested.
Yeah.
She said she's been to court 3 times, and it gets, what do they call it, a continuance?
Yeah. For disorderly
since-
conduct
Since October,
of 21.
she's had this restraining order placed on her. Had to go appear before the courts.
Yeah.
So is the select board considering doing something to support these people or?
Well, only the nature of this is as fellow public servants.
Yeah.
Right, so the whole country is supposed to be set up with checks and balances. I don't know who the checks and balance is for the governor, but I think that we can at least express and question what happened there, because this was one of our constituents.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Town
that's
resident.
Yeah.
so I volunteered to
That's a
draft
great
up,
idea.
draft up a letter. You saw by their smiles that I didn't try and.
We need a little smoothing.
Nothing
It
was
may need a little
nothing,
smoothing.
nothing was sugar coated.
Oh, actually, it was.
Well, yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's
so
true.
you can just put
I
that.
know you,
can
so
find
yeah, it
that.
was sugar coated.
The key word to finding the video on YouTube is King Sununu.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's
Okay.
it comes up with a bunch of different stuff.
There's- there's
I
a-
actually
there's a
put the
couple.
link to the video, the YouTube link, in the minutes from last week, but I
Okay.
didn't get to finish the minutes, but I can send you the
Okay.
draft, and the link is in there.
And so there was the one who was arrested, and then 4 others that came, and all of them said it feels like there's no recourse. You can't go to the state police.
Right.
You can't go to the attorney
Right.
general. That's,
Right.
they're all appointed
They're
by the
all
governor.
right,
And these people have been basically tagged as criminals.
right, and for
Yeah.
but like disorderly, you have the right to a speedy trial. A year and a half for disorderly conduct. It's not like it was.
And now it keeps them in that purgatory zone of
Yeah.
just. Yeah.
And
You
it,
can't move on with your life.
and,
You can't.
and speaking with them, it
Yeah,
has
right.
pretty much made them feel like just giving up,
Yeah.
and that's terrible. And talking to people who know about this, just myself personally around town, they're of the same mind.
So
It doesn't pay to try and express your opinion because
Right.
which is what they want.
Can't even do it quietly.
Right.
because you end up suffering so much.
Right.
So this board is their last recourse. So to
Well, I
speak,
don't know.
or- Or
It's
could
not.
it be?
We don't have any authority to
No.
do anything other than to say what's going on.
But your
Yeah.
voice could be heard.
Right.
And
For
some
them.
people may
Right.
not approve
Back
of
on
that
Oh,
Yeah.
being done on the
right.
board level, which I'm willing to risk it. But we'll see if we can come up with a letter. But we did tell her we would take it serious. What
It is-
happened to her?
Yeah,
Sounds
because
appreciative.
they were invited in, and they didn't come to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason
That's
was
horrible.
aware of it, and so they were invited in to speak with us, and thankfully they did.
Well, just if I could ask, what point were they trying to make?
So it was all related to COVID-19 federal funding. I believe it was to set up vaccination centers and also, I don't know the exact words, but basically like to combat disinformation. You know,
It was a
that
tough-
kind
it
of
was-
propaganda.
It was a
thing.
tough time
Yeah.
during that time frame
Well,
for everybody, so
so
I can understand where it would be.
The
Well, in
what they were
2021, it was, we were long past 2 weeks flattening the
There
curve.
was still a lot of emotion, I mean.
Yeah.
Right,
A lot of
well,
and it was
people-
still
Yeah.
mask mandates and all that. But the
Yeah.
what they were protesting was the verbiage in this contract that if you accept this money from the feds, then you have to comply with all federal mandates saying masking, vaccinations, quarantining, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they had issue with that part of it. It wasn't necessarily with the whole contract. It was the verbiage that said, like, why should we, because we accept this money, now we have to, if you say we have to, shut down the country, then we
Or shut down our state.
shut down our
Right.
state. Yeah, that's
so
what I meant.
like strip
Sorry.
the state's authority away.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so the state had no authority.
And a lot of it was that all the mandates were actually coming directly from the governor without going through the legislature.
Well, all of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on.
No, all of them were. The legislature yielded all power to the governor for 2 years.
New Hampshire wasn't unique in that case, though.
Right.
There were many
Well,
states
no,
that
but
did
they
that.
didn't, New Hampshire didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And not all states did. And it turned out to be a terrible time for New Hampshire. Because, yeah, well, however you may look at how scary it was at that time, that kind of fear is nothing compared to being arrested for disagreeing with the governor.
Yeah.
Because now what do you have left?
Yeah.
What do you have left?
Right.
And what are you handing to your kids? You're handing them this?
Sheep.
And I think as a society, the sooner we come to the recognition that we dropped the ball hard, and the ones who suffered and will suffer are the kids, the next generation. You let go of liberty, it's going to be a fight to get it back.
Yeah.
And the hope is that it can be a battle of words and ideas.
So who
That's
would you
what
submit
that
your
is.
letter to? Directly to the governor? On behalf of the people in New Ipswich?
No,
Something along those
multiple
lines.
outlets. Yeah, it's like,
There is possible.
yeah.
There's different places.
I kind of envision this going off to our state reps who, we engage strongly.
Oh, absolutely.
And
And the governor's, office, the AG's office, and just spread it instead of thinking and hoping that it'd be spread and disseminated from the governor's office, but actually to put it out ourselves, like to all impacted parties and all everybody that has, a piece of ownership in this injustice.
You could have 6 to 7 minutes on 60 Minutes some night.
I'd rather not.
Yeah. No, yeah, we're not looking for that type.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but if it gets out there that you're doing this,
Well,
it's going to become
Well, they
public
won't.
knowledge.
it's not really.
People that are
That's not really the whole
Right.
motivation for it is just the next generation.
Yeah.
I don't.
And this seems extreme to some degree, but it was commonplace at one point. I was just speaking with someone over lunch today about when was the last time that we had a president that actually spoke against big government. It's been a long time, and that's kind of what that seat of president should be looking at. Like, just like we, even during this meeting, spoke about would we create another burden to our taxpayers if we went
Another layer of government.
another layer of government. So you have to be aware of what you're doing and the decisions that you're making in government, and if it's really truly worthwhile and if it will truly help. But I think what we've seen throughout history is the answers don't come from bigger government. That's not the answer, bigger government, because it becomes more cumbersome. Less people end up being served. The policies and things that come out of it ultimately hurt the initiative that it started with, and more should be dealt with locally, smaller, instead of just coming down from the top.
Closer
Yeah.
to the issue.
Yeah, and like what
Yeah.
started
Instead of
out
trying
as
to
a
answer
good idea.
everybody's problems with money. Oh yeah, and then because
Right.
at the federal level they just print it.
Right.
We don't have that ability here, and we have to deal with some of the policies that come out from the feds or the state, which impact your taxes, our taxes, and it's not right. Like, we should have ultimate control over, you know, what taxes that we have to pay and not be mandated to do, you know, certain things that may not translate here.
So these 5 people that came to you, are you staying in contact with them to see where their cases go and whether they're gonna
We
be?
said we would stay in contact.
Yeah.
I didn't bring a rough draft to them, but Sean told them we'll show you a letter before we send it to anybody.
Actually, only one person of the 5 that showed up.
She was the only one
Yeah.
was
She was the
arrested.
only one who was
Gotcha.
arrested.
And she said one person was immediately released. They said they accidentally
Well, she went to court.
arrested her.
Yeah,
and
so,
then-
so
That
it
was
was
the one
basically,
thing
so this woman that they arrested, it was like mistaken identity. What they think is they thought this woman was somebody else, so she was one of the 9 that got pulled out of there and arrested, but then they dropped the charges only for her because because they dropped the charges, they think that, you know, the 9 think that this one woman was mistaken identity because they thought she was somebody else who had not caused trouble, but was very vocal at another protest.
Oh, I see.
So her face was, you know, had a bullseye on it, and so did the first 2 people that got arrested. But it was
And not
mistaken
only-
identity,
not only
so
that.
they let her go.
Wow.
The first two who were arrested were like protest organizers.
Yeah,
So they were heavy on the social media and
Yeah.
the emails, and they would
so
get
they were the
people
first
there.
2.
They said that meeting, they had 24-hour notice. I think that's what she
Yeah,
said.
so she
24-hour
said-
notice, and they had over 250 people show up. So
Mhm.
there was these organizers had some clout.
Yeah.
So at the first meeting-
making people angry.
Yeah. So at the first meeting, they had the first half of the meeting. They had a break. Those 2 people who got arrested at the next meeting,
So you're
they
talking
went
a
up
week
and talked
previous.
a week previous. Yeah. So they were talking during the break, not during the meeting, to some of the board meeting members or whatever, and they were, you know, being a little boisterous and loud and making their point known. And then, you know, they decided to reconvene the meeting, and they canceled the rest of the meeting.
That
because
first one.
Because they
Oh,
feared
okay.
for their lives, they said.
Yeah.
So that was canceled. Then when they were scheduling the meeting for the next week, they wouldn't disclose the location of the meeting until 24 hours before it, and they ended up holding it at the state police barracks.
Wow.
Or nearby it.
Yeah, nearby it, and
Right in Concord.
yeah.
And so, yeah, look it up, check it out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
all online,
It's
and it's kind of
Well,
amazing
I-
and
I-
shocking
if you
that
if you
it's right in
Google
our
the New
state.
Ipswich
Yeah.
the
The New Hampshire
New
9.
Hampshire 9,
You
Okay.
might
New
get
Hampshire
somewhere
9, you'll
with
probably
that.
get something.
Right.
Yeah.
October 13th, 2021
Yeah.
Executive Council meeting.
Well, I was
crazy.
gonna say, it's an honorable effort on your part to represent, you know, people that can't seem to represent themselves, you know, from an official capacity, so that seems to be a nice thing to do.
I feel it goes beyond the people. And when we were elected, we took an oath, the same oath the governor took, or close to it.
Sure.
And that is to uphold the Constitution. And I feel like in 2020 and 21, the Constitution was laid aside. It became that fear that Madison said. It became a flimsy parchment. And it was laid aside, and we're suffering. And every elected official and every law enforcement officer takes that oath. And if it's not taken seriously, without these fundamental rights being agreed upon, me and you, I don't know what else is going to hold our society together. You look at the news, there's so much division. This is the one thing that has kept the country together.
If you write and send a letter, will you make it public?
Everything
Yeah.
we do is public.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially as
Unless
a
it's
board.
non-public.
Yeah. The only time it's non-public is if it's a
No, I get it.
employee personnel issue,
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
or you, a resident, can request non-public meetings. But like if I did this, I gave this draft, and Lou has a serious issue with me. We can't call a non-public meeting to discuss it. It has to be done on camera, in the minutes. He would have to confront me with it, yeah. But
It
for
should
now-
be.
Yeah,
Right.
It doesn't, it's an interesting seat to sit in.
It ain't always pleasant, right?
Well, I mean, for the most part, it's been good.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll see how it
Not too
goes
bad.
from here forward.
yeah. Yeah, just gotta try to, recenter and reground, what it means to be a servant, public servant,
And an American.
and an American, A lot of it gets, I think people, once they become a part of what they thought was like a seal of a community, they lose sight of the rest of the community that they're serving, and then look to that bigger structure.
So,
So, and then even,
In-
at the
in-
various
in-
levels.
in
yeah.
translation,
Yeah.
the bureaucracy.
Yeah, the bureaucracy, it just becomes,
Become a
you
part of the
part of
bureaucracy.
that, when you're not, that wasn't the design originally.
Sure.
Yeah, we are the checks and balances, all the lower, I think the upper levels were supposed to be, and then now we find like the lower levels can be the checks and balances for the upper levels too. So,
And you're the checks and balance for us,
yeah,
people who come to the meeting.
Try to think so.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, it really is. If people come to the meeting, they have a lot of power.
Mm.
Yeah.
With it, yeah.
Yeah.
Made a lot of sense for you guys to come in tonight,
Well-
and I'm glad that you did.
For the record, I'm pleasantly surprised at how you reacted to our request. So I wasn't expecting that.
Mhm.
Expecting somebody to tell me to stand in line.
It's how we've done a few driveway approvals.
Yeah,
And this is exactly how this board
Yeah.
Right.
does it, yeah. We did the same before.
Yeah, with Kenny Beck, we went over there, had a site visit,
Yeah.
and then
we're all brothers and sisters of this community.
Right.
Yeah.
We work
Yeah.
together, yeah.
Refreshing.
Yeah.
doesn't have to be a fight.
No.
Debbie, when's our meeting with the legislative people?
July 18th.
July 18th, so that's not on the 11th, okay.
No,
Oh, that's right, that was another
Yep.
point.
18.
Yep. The state reps will all be here July 18th.
Oh.
Jim
And not only
Kofel,
that,
Diane
but we got an
Kelly, Shane
email.
Saroy,
Oh yeah, Senator
who-
Bard.
Senator
The state,
Rivard
our
also.
senator will be here as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We have a round table.
Who makes that agenda? Do they or do you guys? Or
There is
is it
no
Black?
agenda.
Yeah.
Well, it's our
just
meeting,
a-
yeah, so
Oh,
it would
okay.
come from us, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we don't necessarily, spell out every minute of it, and like you'll see on our
Just a
agenda
general
tonight, it'll be a
topic.
part of the roundtable discussion. So we switched our old new business to roundtable, so that anybody that's here, just like you guys participated in the meeting, would encourage being a part of the decision-making process
Right.
on any topics discussed.
That's awesome.
Because we definitely take it into consideration. Because when you came into this room, naturally there's different authority structure, but you're just at the same level as all of us.
Yeah,
Here.
we're all residents.
Does
Yeah.
the community know that?
We
Does-
try to say it weekly.
The old timers know, but most people they're really busy living their life.
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
Actually, a lot of people are watching these on YouTube, because we try to tape it as often as we can.
Sure.
And so either on YouTube or it's on either, what is it, channel 22,
Mhm.
if you've got,
Yeah, and then there's an HD channel. I can't remember the
yeah,
number.
like 107 or something like that.
1076.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh yeah,
So I'm wondering.
1071,
Yeah, 1071. Yeah.
right on the bottom of the agenda.
Close. Yeah.
Yep.
How this can move forward.
If you don't mind, not to take up a bunch of time tonight, and I don't want to kick it down the road, but at least
Right.
kind of go through it.
This is what I was wondering. Would it be proper for you two to mark it up, scribble out, redact, whatever you want,
Digest.
edit,
Digest.
send it to her,
Mhm.
or can we communicate like that? Working on a draft letter, or is that illegal?
This really doesn't have much to do with town business.
Hmm.
We could and should use Debbie as the communication point.
Yeah.
So any adjustments that we have, I would encourage that they go directly to Debbie, and then she can work with you on.
That would be a good way to
Yeah.
do that, because
Yeah.
what I'd like to do is get a hold of them before our next meeting, because we promised that we would show them whatever we come up with,
Okay.
and just get their input as well.
Yeah.
And then next week we could have it all finalized in public.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a snail mail thing, and not something we just email and get lost in the spam folder.
Yeah. No. No.
Yeah.
Wish they had some really fancy paper for it.
Some like resume paper, that
Maybe-
fancy
or
bonded
parchment.
paper, parchment. You can buy paper that looks like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a good idea. So I'll just by Friday evening, right? Is that good enough?
That would be good.
Yeah.
That way this Saturday I could try and get that done.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you
Just-
alright with that? Like with the probably like a Saturday morning swap over email, like
I get my email on my phone.
You're away.
I'm at the conference Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
yeah. So,
So
back
Friday
to work on
afternoon I'll be
Saturday.
back. I get
Snap that whip, Sean.
Yeah.
I have my emails on my
So
phone
yeah, well,
anyway.
by
so
Friday
I just
afternoon.
forward
Yeah,
it.
just
No
something
problem.
like
We'll get
this.
it done. Alright.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Friday
no
afternoon
problem.
we'll have about the revisions and
Okay.
the requested revisions.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
I do have access to my phone, email, and text if anybody needs anything
Alright.
while I'm at the conference.
We'll be sure to keep you updated on the weather conditions here.
Alright.
Okay.
That was all I had.
Second call, Lou.
No, I'm fine.
Alright. Jason?
I'm
Debbie?
good.
Alright. Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Here.
There you go!
That was good.
The king has spoken.
And we will see you guys when?
Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Just wanted to shake your hand and say thanks.
We are going over
This was
there
a real pleasure.
Tuesday
Thank you.
at
Really
good meeting
4
you.
You too,
p.m.
thank you.
Sounds
Thanks
good.
very much.
Glad you guys came.
Good
you
to
later,
see you,
kiddo.
John.
Feel like we
Take
seen-
care.
we've seen
Feel
you
free to
around.
come in anytime.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
It was
Yeah.
nice to
Good
meet
meeting
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Busy, but yeah. See ya.
See ya.
Bye. Thank you.
Take care.
And it's high def, so you can't let them see any of the non-public stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He
Someone will
zooms in-
zoom in on it.
Zooms in on your paper on in front of you.
That's fine. Alright.
Okay, we need to sign paperwork.
Oh, that's what we need to do. Sean, 7:20? Are you serious?
Hey,
Last time it was 8:40.
cooking with grease. I know, we got a lot in too.
I know. I added like 5 things to my action item list.
Oh,
That's what
There
There's
you
the
was.
last one that I didn't sign, and that's
What?
what
Alright.
yeah, so
Okay.
Jason signed this one.
Yep.
You haven't signed that yet. This goes with that. And then there's,
That's just that first ordinance.
um,
And I did have that fire and police stuff in there last weekend, but what do you
so we're gonna have it all as a part of one grouping, right? There's no need to make like a one-off change. There's one ready already.
Yeah, so you can sign it though.
We're not gonna start that. We're gonna do a whole packet.
I thought, no, it's instead of,
Oh, that's how we're doing ours.
yeah,
That's a nice.
thank you.
But I like,
I like putting it on letterhead, I think it's more official looking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that one.
I thought we
Sign
were
it
gonna
now, sign it later.
sign them as we go, so it doesn't get the can kicked down the road and we never get finished with them, at least the ones that we did. I mean, I gotta give it a number and stuff too.
Well, it was the opposite of what we spoke about with if we parse it out, it may never get done. But if we get the whole thing together and sign off on it in one,
Well, I was
at
saying
one
the other
night.
way.
At
Oh,
one
really?
time.
Oh, yeah.
I was
that's
saying
a-
if we wait till we have the whole thing together,
Right.
then maybe none of it gets done, but if
Right.
we parse it out.
But it feels like the whole thing will be together in short order, cause it's already
Well,
all
It's
redone
already,
and.
they're already all typed out, I did
Just
that
a
in
matter of
2017.
shuffling Pages.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
just-
gotta give them all a number, organize them, whatever, put them in a book, and then you guys are gonna go through them, check them. Do you wanna change things or not change them? You're not gonna sign the ones
Cause I
that
think we should
we
go with
bring
these
in.
same article headings, right?
Similar, I don't know if we have that many.
Right.
Oh, yeah, there's about as many pieces of paper.
I
as-
liked putting them in alphabetical order by the topic, because
it'd be-
then they're easier to find. I thought. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I'd like to see it skinnier.
Yeah, yeah,
Here.
yeah, that's what I mean, and these even have all the
I mean,
forms
hey,
in there.
we could rescind all the
Yeah, there's nothing in there to sign, it's just
ordinances.
all informational stuff from, the police. and
Live free or die.
Fire
That's
stats
gonna
and
be our
SBA
ordinance.
stats and,
Yeah, right.
revolving.
That
fund
sounds like
stats.
anarchy.
So I'm just gonna do one, and I'm gonna say live free or die.
Yeah.
All other
Yeah.
all other ordinances are rescinded.
Perfect. Nice. We're good. And I did forget to give an update too.